something don't go their way, they get mad. I'm like, what the? If you overreact, folks, remember to do that. Don't overreact. And when you get mad, it's your problem. It ain't your wife's problem, your husband's problem, your neighbor, your friend, your preacher, your teacher. It's your problem. Why you think you tick? It didn't go your way or the way you think it should go. Don't have a way you think it should go. Let life just happen. Thoughts make you think that life should go the way you want it to go. And if it doesn't, if someone don't do or say or act the way you think they should act, you hate them. And then you blame them for being mad. It's the darndest thing I ever seen. But it's amazing to see it. So relax. I noticed after a while that when these guys overcome their anger, they have amazing ideas about starting a business. But because they've been told that if you don't get a loan from the bank, or if you don't have a 5-year plan, or if you don't do this, and it's just simply not true, it's the first step. With faith, then all things are possible. So, but the most important thing is to return to the Father. That yearning that you have, that emptiness, that void, is not for more stuff. It's not for more friends. It is a return to the Father, because there's no way you can return to God and be angry at your earthly father. So thank you all so much, right? People around the world donated to Bond at rebuildingtheman.com, or they call 800-411-2663, and we're still committed to pointing the right way for men and women to return to the Father. So, here's what I recommend. I invite you to download my silent prayer, and I want you to start doing it. You just download it, get the points of how to do it, and then after a while, you just do it on your own. It's going to point you in the right direction, that your life will be returned to you from God. He will give you your life back, because anyone and all people who has anger, they're not themselves. You are the person that you are angry at. That's why it's so important to get to know yourself, so that you can see who you're angry at. And if you're doing the hooping and hollering prayers and things like that, some people get up, oh, praise the Lord, hoop and holler, bless my mama, bless my daddy. Continue to do it. Do both. You will see if you want to stay with the hooping and hollering, or do you want to be still and know God. So my gift to you, no charge, at rebuildingtheman.com/church. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room,
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on America's soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, folks, on this fine Wednesday. It's a pleasure to be back with you on this fine Wednesday. And I got a bit of a show for you. Okay, we got some things to get into. Okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're keeping it varied today. So, you know, we're going to take it easy today on this fine Men's History Month Wednesday. So it's a pleasure to see you, everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. I see I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. here on YouTube and, of course, Punchy.tv. Very nice to see everybody. Oh, absolute pleasure. You know, there's some of this violence and stuff. Okay, we're going to have to deal with violent crime. Trump put it in capitals, V and the C. Violent crime. And it's crazy, okay? People really are crazy mad out there. You know, there's some breaking news, too, some shooting. We'll see if we get into it later, but maybe even some... I hate to bring it up again. Epstein, look, briefly we'll do it. Ghislaine Maxwell, they're talking to her, okay? They're saying, she's saying not much is happening with Trump. Like, it's just funny, you know, people are so nuts. They're like calling Jesse. You might have heard Tony, California earlier, saying like, making all sorts of claims like Trump was at that island. You know, there's not even any evidence for that, you know? If you're a wait and see kind of person, right? If you're not, then you're not having you're not having a good time right now. You are confused. You're in hell. You're in pain. You're lost, maybe. But what else? I mean, there's a number of things to get into. Oh my gosh. I just asked Hake if he knew that song. We might have to do this later. I swear it's like an anthem, but I don't know if it's fair to say millennial anthem. I don't know where I got that from. I heard it growing up, right? High school, maybe? Home, take me back home. And it's like, hey, you know, like hippie music, like hipster music? Hipster. They called it hipster when I was in school. Okay? You had the Toms. You had the Toms shoes. Okay? You had the Toms shoes, and you bought a pair because you planted a tree somewhere. And for some reason, this barely wrap of a shoe. You guys remember Tom's shoes? I remember that started coming around in school. It's skinny jeans and Toms. No longer. Move aside, emo boy. Move aside, punk. Move aside, scene kid. It's the era of the hipster arrived. Okay? Hey, ho. You remember this? Anybody remember this? Not Mumford & Sons. It's the other one. Take me back home. Home is wherever I'm with you. For some reason, it's popping off right now. We'll have to get to that later. So shout out to the hipsters, wherever you may be, if you are still around. What was that? What was that era? But it's for some reason it's popping off. If you remember that song, we'll have to deal with all that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the chat. I see you guys coming in. Welcome. How you doing? No Diggity Big, Ivana, Lord of the Pies, Sir, Kevin, Chris, Mr. Pink, Cloud, everybody. Welcome. Edward Sparks into Ultramagnetics. It's something like that. You got it. Yep. You know what I'm talking about. Some people know. Thank you, Law Dog. Thank you, Jep. Appreciate his spirit. We'll get to all the supporters and the super chats and all that. What's Jesse babbling about? You talking about in the in my intro? It's the origin story of the Anchor Baby, sort of. Okay. That's everybody in the chat. Welcome. We'll get to all that. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. Appreciate all the supporters. You know, first thing on my mind, not even on my mind. I came across the headline. Am I just trying to start a fight? Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong for this. Maybe I'm just trying to start fights. And because I don't feel the need to finger wag about this. You know, I'm not sitting around hoping and wishing and, oh my gosh, Mr. Trump, just tell them the truth, right? Release the list and say that you were just on the plane, sir. Please, right? You didn't do anything. You guys are so judgmental. So I don't feel the need to finger wag about this. Ghislaine Maxwell told DOJ Trump never did anything concerning around her. According to sources, okay. That's, of course they'll say that, Nick. Of course, that's a likely story. Just release the files. Just tell us what's up, huh? I hear the apparition already. And whatever, right? Ghislaine is saying it's no biggie. She didn't see anything concerning. And, people are calling in, right? It's Tony California. He's like, Trump is, what does he say? He's on the Epstein, he's on the files, traveling to the island, Jesse. Just positive. And, you break it down if you're a wait and see kind of person. Which, what am I even saying there? What are you waiting and seeing for? If you're just like not a judgmental person, possibly. Objective, let's go with that. I think that's more accurate here. Then you'd say, well, there's no sign that he was even on the island, according to the experts. Okay, that's like the prevailing, narrative. Some may imply this or that, but you go to the news, and if I may pull it up here in a sec. If we go to Reuters, AP, they'll say there is no credible evidence that Trump ever visited Little St. James. And they quote him, I never had the privilege of going to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go. That was this year, July. But anyways, that's what you guys care about that, right? You guys still care about this a little? I don't care about it that much. We're about to move on. What's ABC saying
the
here?
Jeffrey Epstein case, and tonight what sources are now telling ABC News about what Jeffrey Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, said during her 2 days of recent meetings with the Justice Department. What she said about President Trump. And tonight the president has now been asked about what happened just days after that meeting. Ghislaine Maxwell was transferred from federal prison in Florida to a minimum security camp in Texas. Here's Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, less than 2 weeks after the unusual meeting between the country's second highest law enforcement official and Jeffrey Epstein's co-conspirator, sources tell ABC News Ghislaine Maxwell said nothing in those 2 days that would harm President Trump. Maxwell, convicted of sex trafficking, is serving a 20-year prison sentence. And during this meeting with the Justice Department, sources familiar with its contents say she told Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who until recently was Trump's personal attorney, that Trump did nothing in her presence that would have caused her concern. In the week and a half since that unusual meeting, Maxwell has been moved from a federal prison in Florida to a minimum security camp for women in Texas.
Girls
Club. A rare move for a convicted sex offender. Late today, President Trump was asked if he authorized transferring Maxwell from that prison to a minimum security camp with more favorable conditions.
It's a girls' club now, and we don't know. Like, they're saying they might release the transcripts of this whole thing where she says all this, do what you will, Mr. President, right? They're saying that they might. Now, where did I put all that? DOJ. There is no audio recording of the interview, but the administration is seeing if they plan to release the audio to accompany what? There is also an audio recording, they're saying, and they're considering to release the audio and the transcripts as soon as this week, the sources said. But okay. Whatever might happen with that. In my opinion, Trump is most likely on tape doing stuff with underage girls. I mean, lots of guys would fall for that honeypot. That's what some people say in the chat and all that. That might not be objective, but whatever. See, I don't even think like that. What are you guys saying here? Ghislaine, if there's one person you trust, it's her. See, I knew it. It wouldn't even matter anyways. People kind of have already been made up their minds in certain ways, no? Whatever. Ghislaine. I was really looking at these attacks, It was this first one here. And then I'm looking at this, and then now there's this shooting. Fort Stewart. Soldiers shot. And there looks to be injuries, casualties maybe. No information about the shooting suspect. Well, might give you some info on that in a bit, but you saw this maybe on the JLP show. This guy brutally beaten, just bloodied. His name is Korestein. How do you say this? Ed Korestein. What kind of last name is that? Quite rare. Appears to have Scottish or Irish origins. Korstein. Maybe someone was thinking Korstein. I think some people were thinking he might have been Jewish. I don't know. I just know him as the guy that was at Doge, right? They call him Big Balls, right? So he's just over there in D.C., and there was a carjacking Sunday morning. 2 people familiar with the incident said, in an attack that captured the attention of President Donald Trump. You know, there's no point in showing this, I guess. He's all bloody. You saw it on the JLP show. And he's apparently helping somebody, some lady in the carjacking. But Trump is saying he's going to federalize Washington. I mean, that sounds awesome. I'm not sure what that means. It's not clear. It could mean a number of things. It definitely means taking things, like, what is it? Getting things under control. That's definitely the point. I wonder how he'd do it. I'm not sure. You'd have to take it from these officials. I don't know. It's supposed to be a federal jurisdiction or whatever, right? It's not supposed to be a state. I heard, right? Then some founding fathers say something about that. Jeez. We've lost our education, folks. Maybe not any of you, only the anchor baby. But I heard the founding fathers didn't want that to be a state, right? Where the federal government is, they can't have a little extra power here, being a state, being able to vote, being able to do things. I gather that was the idea. So he could just make that happen, like for real. It's a federal jurisdiction. We're bringing in the police, the National Guard. You know, it's crazy. I see people right away. Articles come out. Washington crime down, blah, blah, blah %. Trump is saying this. And the articles, they come out. They say, oh, the crime is down. Oh, but the crime is down. Oh, I saw one say 30 or so %. And it's like, at what point do you have to just like look at look at the news, look at what's happening? They'll say, you know, reform this, no police here, let these criminals out there, and you show us a number on the screen. I don't know, give us more context. Like, I just don't believe it. We're just going to block our eyes here. But so the guy bloodied, crazy here. Sources confirmed Mr. Korstein, who is now senior advisor at the State Department and Department of Homeland Security, had been injured after intervening in an attempted carjacking. Let's see here. Perhaps this should have been done long ago, Trump says about federalizing D.C., which I hear is not safe. Multiple callers on the JLP show otherwise, they say it's not exactly like a safe place. I'm sure that different areas matter, but I had a little news report for you here. Let's see what Fox 5 is saying.
Just in, President Trump once again threatening to take control of D.C. On social media in the last hour, the president posted,
"What the
is, quote, out of control."
What just happened there?
Just in, President Trump once again threatening to take control of D.C. On social media in the last hour, the president posted, juvenile crime in the district is, quote, out of control. He recommends teens as young as 14 should be charged and prosecuted as adults for violent crimes. Speaking to reporters today, Trump claimed a Doge employee was attacked in the district last night.
I have to say that somebody from Doge was very badly hurt last night. You saw that. A young man.
Call in 888-775-3773. Some people in the chat say, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
And
the lines are open.
Up by a bunch of thugs in D.C. And either they're going to straighten their act
out. Bunch of thugs in D.C.
in terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
Right now, we are working to confirm Trump's claim on that alleged attack. Meantime, he went on to say if D.C. doesn't get its act together, he will have no choice but to take federal control of the city. Much more tonight at 10 and 11. News.
Okay. Oh, wait. Hold
Update
up.
just in confirming
Oh, well, there you
President
go.
Trump's claim that a former DOJ employee
There he
was
is.
attacked on the streets of D.C. last night. Multiple sources telling Fox News that Edward Kornstein was violently beaten in D.C. Elon Musk says Kornstein, also known by a colorful nickname, was, quote, beaten to the point of concussion while trying to save a woman from a D.C. assault. That attack leading President Trump to once again amplify calls to federalize the district. Nana Sayobonsu is working to get more details.
Nana Sayobonsu?
To federalize the district. Nana Sayobonsu is.
What? Nana Sayobonsu? What did he call me? I guess that might be somebody, but look, that might be a name, folks. Some people in the chat were, I have to assume, I don't know what your face was doing, but I have to assume when you were typing these things that your face was like that when JLP said that maybe he should not go around helping people like that. And it's like, what? Jesse, what? But some men are supposed to protect people. If men don't stand up, if they don't come up to the, to the plate and show up, then who will protect the innocent? That might be a noble thing, maybe at times, sort of, maybe, kind of. I know some literature, okay? I'm an armchair a combat specialist, so basically not a combat specialist at all. That being said, the following, here's one phrase taught in some police, world academies, training places. I've read this. Don't become a liability. That's one of the main things you got to worry about in a spicy situation, okay? House call. I think officer safety is number one. It was something I was reading, and it said, don't be a liability. You can't let yourself become a liability, make the situation worse. There's nothing heroic about that, okay? So actually, there's some sense to, if you cannot, actually positively affect the situation, it's not heroic. It would just be worse to maybe jump into the fray. I don't know what happened. Maybe you could call this a success, maybe. I hear the lady was fine. You could call this a success, but it's a sacrifice. Who knows what they would have done? I don't know what the story is. Maybe it was a vehicle theft.
Working to get more details on this developing story. She will have much more coming up tonight at 10.
Who's big balls?
Big.
That should be obvious. Why do they
Okay, I guess this is just the guy.
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
That's him, man. Just a little bit, precocious young man with courage, with big courage, and lots of courage. So you guys are laughing at that name. I don't know what they were referring to. Nana.
Trying to save a woman from a D.C. assault.
I'm sorry, keep showing his.
Much more tonight at 10 and 11.
I want to hear it one more time.
An update just in confirming beaten in D.C.
We're not going to find it. Let's just move on. Nana, that was somebody's name, right? Nanasu Mananji or something. That was somebody's name, I think. That's just welcome to America, folks. I don't know if that person was probably in government. I wasn't listening. I wasn't doing a good job listening. Okay, this is terrible. Let me see. Last thing I want to say about this. What federalizing might be. That might be interesting. Possibly deploying National Guard or federal agents. Strengthening prosecution tactics. Allowing them to slap stronger charges. And I don't know. It could mean a whole number of things. All the way to assuming temporary or total control. I like that. Assume total control, Mr. President, of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and more. The whole freaking place. Okay. Nanasi Yobonsu. That was the name. Nanasi Yobonsu, if that was a name at all. Let's move on, folks. Enough about Nanasi. Enough about Yobonsu. Silly stuff in the chat. Are you in there? Say hello. Leave a little like. Don't be rude. We see that you came in. We see that you're here in the chat. We see that you may say a little something. We see you sitting down there in the couch like you just came in and said nothing. Click the like button. Say hello. Don't be rude. Leave a little comment. Okay, so what else? I was, this kind of goes into the shooting at Fort Stewart. I guess I don't really have details for you. I really just got this New York Times article. But it's thematic, okay? All this anger going around. The gunman was quickly apprehended, authorities said, and a lockdown of the base was lifted, okay? 5 soldiers were shot on Wednesday at Fort Stewart Hunter Army Airfield in Georgia. A gunman was apprehended about 40 minutes afterwards. Soldiers were treated at the scene, taken to a hospital. No elaboration on the injuries. No information about the suspect in custody. Brian Kemp, governor of Georgia, expressing concern. FBI is coordinating with the Army Criminal Investigation Division. And they're just investigating. So, it's crazy. Like, I'm just out there, just at a 7-Eleven or something. And it's anger everywhere. I couldn't get past this aisle the other day. I couldn't get past this aisle. And okay, it was a silly thing, but there was someone blocking the aisle. And I go by, and I just kind of squeezed by. And they gave me the dirtiest look. Little skinny white guy. And it reminded me of, it was some time ago, but, walking through an aisle, and it was 2 black guys. And I'm like, excuse me, fellas. I walked through, and they gave me the dirtiest look, cut in line in front of me. And I'm like, excuse me. And he turns around, he's like, what? I remember, I'm not about to die over a line, a place in line, okay? Sir, buy your Swisher Sweets and get out of my face. Or I don't know what he was buying. But it's crazy how angry people are. And whatever, man. We got to watch ourselves because, look, a caller could call me and I'm like, or a chat. I'll look at a chat. I'll be like, wait, what? What are you saying, bro? And I guess sometimes also, I heard Hake say this, but it's true. Sometimes it's like nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's like, what the heck is that spirit within? Well, how did it get there? You heard Jesse tell you it's your mama. That is fascinating. Tell me you don't see it when I show you this. Because this is out of control. Because this came across my table. This came across my desk. I came into this conversation on the end here, okay? On the internet. People are fighting about something, okay? And I come into this conversation at the end. And what you're seeing is a quarterback. This is art, okay? Don't laugh. Don't cringe. This is art. This is important. Wow. This is meaning. This means something. This has a lot of meaning. Someone help me with the meaning, but they're fighting about sports. You thought it was about art? They're fighting about sports, okay? It's a sports thing. Football. So it's out of my purview. It's out of my purview. I don't know the team's quarterback. I don't know this stuff. And apparently the Caleb Williams fan club is basically clowning Jaden Daniels here. Are these your heroes? Anybody's heroes? Are we talking about anybody's heroes here? Jaden Daniels, American football player. Playing for Who's he playing for? It's college ball, Arizona State. These are the youngins. We got Jaden Daniels, possibly an up-and-comer, getting joshed on by the Caleb Williams fan club, which this is how I came into the conversation, right? We learned, oh, this must be Caleb Williams. Because the person here is saying, you're making fun of Jaden Daniels? This is your quarterback, by the way, buddy. So that's the sports spat they're having. And at one point, I'm like, what am I doing with my life, right? And then it hit me. Why they posted about Jaden Daniels. And I was like, wow, this is why we do this. This is why we do this, folks. We have Exhibit A, yet further proof, unless you just don't see it, that Jesse's right.
So today
This is Jaden Daniels and his mama.
So today I was blessed to treat my mom to a day at Neiman's. We had a great day shopping, eating lunch down there, seeing her put on her makeup, trying on perfume, just be able to go out there and bless her. For 23 years of my life, she's been blessing me. So love you, Mom. This day is for you.
Let's go, right? She looks like a young mom. 23, she's been blessing him 23 years. Let's go to Neiman Marcus, Ma. And it's just so special. They're saying bro's going to be single for the rest of his life. For the rest of this life. You guys are already on it. Nope, this is bad. You guys are on it. Oh no. Here, we got more.
Down there, seeing her put on her makeup, trying.
Wait, what? Is this just the one cut of that clip? Hold on.
Eating lunch down there, seeing her put on her makeup, trying on perfume, just be able to
Wait, what?
Down there, seeing her put on her makeup, trying on perfume, just be able to eat lunch.
He's infatuated, sir. This is a date. This is a date, Jaden Daniels. What's going on? It's kind of a travesty. We kind of yucking it up a little bit. Kind of laughing. You guys are like, he's a mama's boy. His mama ain't bad looking, though, says Walking Roscoe. He's a mama's boy. What are you saying? Why is her makeup so white? What do you mean? She trying to be a white gal? Or you mean...
So today I was blessed to treat my mom to a day.
Blessed. See, many men wish they want to bless their mom. I read about this, actually, in The Antidote. Anybody read The Antidote? Young black men. I mean, you've seen this. You make it, football or some kind of career, some acting or something. And it's like, I remember reading about that in The Antidote. First thing you do, you buy mama a house. I'm seeing you guys in the chat. Okay, I get it. This has a particular black flair to it. It's like the black mama really is egregious in this, no? And being the son's boyfriend. I see it far too often, especially when they're like, they make it, right? Football player, they do that. I've seen it far too often. I'm trying to think of that football player who, what was it? I can't. It doesn't matter. It's just far too often. The black mother is egregious in this. It really is. It's even way worse than a joke. It's like an abomination. It's like a true biblical abomination. What does that mean, right? We're just having fun with that one. But an abomination. It's just really, I think it's really a corrupting force. Because look, here you have it dressed up with like money and all that. And it's all like nice, maybe. And we did it. We have love. We just did it. But I mean, we just don't know the behind the scenes, okay? We really don't know. I guess where I'm going with that is, this is kind of a different one. You guys seen that guy, I Show Speed? I didn't plan on talking about this. He is a streamer, young black man, killing it in the streaming world, I guess. You know how much his mother would just rip on him and yell at him on stream, embarrass him. infantilize them. These are extreme examples of what happens, what's basically been happening in the homes, right? You got this probably going on for years. And then what? Fast forward, right? What's growing at? What are the fruits of this tree? Pretty angry men, right? A criminal element in the black community, right? That starts young. And then this corrupt, and then you could paint this across the whole nation. No, come on. All the way up to the government, all the way to how things are being run. Well, anyways, whatever. Jaden Daniels, I got to say, it really, you see this all the time. I mean, if you pay attention, you see what Jesse's saying kind of everywhere. Here's just one extreme example kind of wanted to show to you. So that's Jaden, man. Got to overcome mama. I really think you could draw a line, too, from this kind of stuff to angry men. And from that, you could draw a line to Fort Stewart, Ed Kornstein. But anyways, thank you, Gregatron. Appreciate the super chat. We'll get to everybody. But yeah, are you ready for some punchy TV today? We are. Make sure you tune in. We'll be live 2 p.m. with the boys, with the experts. Just kind of live and taking it easy, taking your calls. So make sure you tune in 2 p.m. Pacific time. Punchy TV. Appreciate that. Thank you, Gregatron. Yeah. Oh, do you know this, Ivana? Is she a single mom? Nick, you jealous about him taking care of his mama. I think you're just like a... Oh, okay, my bad. This person is like combative, usually. That's fine. You could call in 888-775-3773. Don't you take care of your mama? No. She can take care of herself. She's doing fine. I've never seen the need to. I haven't seen the need to or had the desire to or need to. Thank you for that, Birdie Bound Brian. Yeah, rebuildingtheman.com/books. Is that true? Is that real? Books. Yeah, that's not real. Rebuildingtheman.com/store. And you can get some of those books I was mentioning. But thank you, Birdie Bound Brian. Just looking at my chat here, folks. We're just chilling with the chat here before we get to the next thing. All right, amazing. Thank you so much. Something like that. Let's get to this. I see calls too. So, look, anger. Look, it's crazy. How about this? This is something I wouldn't even know how to speak on. But I just know it's interesting, which is probably a mistake, right? This is a sign not to speak on this, but I get certain impressions about what's going on over in the Middle East, Israel. They're talking about Zog in Israel. What the heck is that? So I know that ZOG is supposed to mean Zionist occupied government, okay? Which I disclaim, or which one is it? Disclaim or disavow? So let me see. How do I pull this up? How do we even get into this? Because they're saying that these are Jews in Israel making these complaints or talking about what's going on over there in a way that I gather is like very combative against themselves, so to speak. I guess I just noticed a lot of internal conflict if people are really speaking like this. Now, oh my gosh. I'm just realizing how little I should be talking about this because I don't know. What's a Mizrahi Jew? As it said, this person is saying, as every Mizrahi boy, and then we'll get to calls, 888-775-3773, they're coming in. As every Mizrahi boy in Zionism, I was taught to look up to Ashkenazi men as the epitome of morality, intelligence, and overall existential brilliance. In Israeli society, this is still widely held prejudice that partially explains Netanyahu's political success. Maybe this was more interesting when I first clicked it, because I'm really lost now. Sorry, folks. I gather they're very internally divided there. And they're like mad at Netanyahu too. That's what I gather. Kind of like Arabs and Palestinians and Jewish critical whites here in America, maybe. See this guy. Look, sometimes Israeli culture is just too Israeli to handle. What does that even mean? Random brownoid goes to do grave worship in Uman at 26. That's a place, I imagine. Then decides he wants to be religious, sets himself up as a YouTube rabbi, and teaches other dumb brownoids that the whole population of Gaza should be starved to death. And if you disagree, you are Erev Rav. Anti-Zionist propaganda doesn't even have to work anymore. Just has to go to his YouTube. Oh my gosh, I don't understand this. Sorry, folks. You can call me about it. Do you guys get it? I guess this is an Israeli over there. All I'm saying is, look, I like the Ashkenazim. I really do. I have Ashkenazi friends. You're my friend. That means something to me. I do anything I could within reason and beyond to help you and yours. I'd have Ashkenazi at my table for Sabbath. But the moment you mofos look the other direction, expose your weakness fully, we'd be stupid fools to not immediately take you the F out and liberate Haaretz Israel. It looks like they got issues, right? They got like, this is how my impressions, right? It seems like you got this guy, and he's, for better or worse, in ways that pisses off a lot of people, even Trump maybe, right? It's like against American interests or whatever. He wants to make Israel safe, make Israel great, take over Gaza, end the bombings, and even go further for the safety of Israel, I gather. And so people don't like that. But in some ways, I see him kind of tough. Like, put it like this, right? Don't they have these like they have these people saying that, oh yeah, they're saying that Netanyahu is going to go to jail. And they're just sure of it, some of them. Because he tried to change the judiciary rules and all that and expand the power of the executive. It's like, how dare he? And it turns out they have like similar issues there where they got like the judiciary, activist judges kind of running things. And I guess I'm drawing a parallel to here, right? Where a strong man is trying to make things happen in America. And they call it all sorts of things. Oh, you're right, dictator. You're going to go to jail, corrupt. This guy's getting investigated. So what am I saying with that? I'm just saying I feel like I may have learned a tiny bit about Israel. I'm not even making a claim about anything. I may have learned something about I may have learned something about Israel and the people there with this. I don't even know. Maybe you did too. Tell me if you did. Let's get to Mark out of Los Angeles, California, sir. Appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Yes, sir, Nick. Sorry, I just eaten lunch, but I'll talk.
Thank you, Mark. Go ahead.
You know that happy Men's History Month, first of all.
Right on.
Did you know that there's a revision on Broadway, I guess, of Jesus Christ Superstar, the play, musical? Are you familiar with that at all?
No, I'm not.
Okay, in 1970, Jesus Christ Superstar premiered, and it was like sort of liberal version of the crucifixion, and it wasn't meant to be, according to the producers at the time in 1970, but there were a lot of Christians who were offended by it. Okay. And I mentioned this on Hake earlier. the newest rendition of Jesus Christ Superstar is going to be they've got two Jewish producers, and they're going to portray Jesus as a black female lesbian in this ridiculous blasphemy of a play. And I assume you haven't heard anything about that.
No,
huh?
I mean, I've heard that title of some work before. I thought it was some play or musical. Jesus Christ Superstar. I've definitely heard that before. Not familiar with it. You're telling me it's a 1970 film and all that. It was offensive.
Well, not a film. It was a play.
Play.
But maybe they made it into a film. I guess they did.
It's apparently okay. So I'm seeing. So this 1973 film is not the play you're talking about. But I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this. What is this? A film in 1970? I think made by Norman Jewison. Is that his real name? Norman Jewison. Yep. So was this always produced by Jews? Even this iteration? Look, I'm just not surprised in some of what you're saying. It seems.
Well, as far as I know, yeah, they've all been Jews that have put this thing together, and I know it's blasphemy. The one they made in the 70s, I don't think was anywhere near as just plain demonic as the one they've got out there now.
Yeah,
the one that's debuted or is going to be debuted. I mean, the woman, the actress, was in another play where I think she played the witch in The Wizard of Oz. The modern version. So if you know who I'm talking about, she's kind of a skinny black woman.
Yeah. Wizard of Oz. She's all like thin and she really plays it up too. The lankiness and the like alienness of it all. She kind of plays it up. I think going all bald and getting those long nails.
Wasn't the name of the show?
She doesn't do
Wicked?
herself any favors there. So she, anyways,
right? Wasn't the one where she played the witch? Wasn't the name of that show Wicked?
You might be right. Wicked actress, black woman. I think that's how we're gonna find it. Cynthia Erivo.
Yep.
Cynthia Erivo. That was her
right.
name.
That sounds right.
That sounds right.
So
and I'm looking at it, and it's correct.
Yeah, she real skinny and ugly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one. I mean, that's total blasphemy. I understand she's a lesbian. If it matters to me. But and they're getting this person to play Jesus. That's the ultimate blasphemy. Wouldn't you agree?
Blasphemy? You know what? When you ask it like that, I'm not so sure. What's that?
Blaspheming Jesus. When you mock Jesus.
When you mock Jesus is blaspheming Jesus. Yeah, I guess so, right?
Well, what?
I said, yeah, I guess so, right?
Yeah. And it wasn't as bad in 1970. I was just a kid, but I remember seeing it. And it was just a lot of singing, and it's a musical. Didn't seem that offensive. But I guess if I would have been a Southern Baptist, I wouldn't have appreciated it, considering Norman Jewison made it. But now we've got,
sick about,
what? No,
apologies,
I was just going to say 55 years later, and they're redoing it in a more evil way. And,
And it might have already been, like, kind of offensive or evil, you're saying?
Yes, and so it may not have been.
They're just following tradition with that one. They're just following tradition with that. So they may just be following tradition with that one.
Well,
and keeping it offensive and being all that. But look, I'll say this. I want to ask you about blasphemy, and I found that somewhat of an interesting thing. But I'll say this. Look, there's something of what's the word? Kind of a chip on their shoulder, kind of a sick hatred and anger I noticed from to culturally speaking towards Jesus, Christianity, and that comes from Jews, liberals, and I'm thinking about particular ones, like the ones that would make a movie like this. I do gather like a cultural, like most people do, right? Like most religions and most foreign people do, in fact, have it to Christianity in America, I'd say. It's kind of across the board, if I'd put it that way. But, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Did you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it's 21st century re-crucifixion of our Lord Jesus. Even though he's already been crucified, died, and was buried, I think that killing him again on stage by the same people that killed him in real life is just plain evil, man. I mean, it's right in your face. If you're any kind of Christian, if you're a believer, and, you know, you should be offended by this. But what can you do? What can we do? You know, the white Christians are just sitting back, seeing their country fall apart. The cultural rot, the unsafe streets, the criminal leftists that are destroying our government, I'm talking about the Trump administration specifically, and these left-wing, white-hating judges. They're doing everything they can to destroy us as quick as possible. You know, and they're only 55%, the white race of the U.S. That didn't happen overnight. This has been a long conspiracy, regardless of how many Biden let in. According to Tucker Carlson, it was 60. There's 60 million here now. You have to remember, before Biden, there were tens of millions of illegals in the country anyway. So I don't know. I don't know if it's 60 million, but if Tucker said it, I'll believe him. You know, because it sounds right.
I mean, I've been hearing 20-something million for years, and that was only when I got
it. No. That's what came in under Biden.
Under Biden. Oh, yeah, I remember you mentioning that. And that is an insane number on Biden. Under Biden alone, 60 million.
This is what I'm hearing.
Is there that many people in America? Like, I wonder what the real census might be, but...
That's the problem. Thanks to Judge Roberts and those sellouts on the Supreme Court, they've allowed illegal aliens to be counted in our census. And the illegals are packed in the blue cities and blue states and in red states, but primarily in the blue states where the commies rule. So what that means is they'll get more representation even though they're not citizens, because Judge Roberts said you have to count illegals in the census. So bad news. That's bad news.
Would be.
I don't see any good news, Nick, other than Trump's presidency.
Are you appreciative of what he's doing with? What do you think? How do you take out how he's handling some of that? The deportation so far.
Oh, I love it. I love everything. No, he's doing good. The only problem are the judges. He's having a problem with judges not allowing him to deport as many as he wants to. I hate to even say this, but I heard that some commie front group is trying to close Alligator Alley, and they got the attention of another commie judge. Well, he may not be a commie judge because it's down in Florida. You may have a normal judge down there, but either way, if I'm Trump, I'm ignoring that order. That stays open, and these deportations continue. No, I agree with everything that President Trump is trying to do, because more than just deporting the illegals, he's also showing the world just how evil the politicians in California, New York, and Illinois really are. Defying ICE, trying to unmask ICE, trying to defy Trump at every turn, stomping on the white race. They don't care what we say. They don't care what the white voters say.
And what he dares to think of, too. What he dares to say and think of. Who knows what doors are opening down the road on what people didn't even know what you could attempt to do and try on. I wanted to... Go ahead.
No, are you talking about Trump now?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I got you.
Yeah, I was just saying that on what he's dared to speak freely on and just open conversations on, you just don't know what doors have opened down the road as well.
Well, they're building another Alligator Alcatraz in Indiana. It's not going to be surrounded by alligators, but it's going to be in a place where there's a airplane runway.
Nice.
A judge will be there so they can get their stupid due process, which they're not due. I don't care what a judge said. They didn't get any due process coming here. But, they're going to be opening up another detention center for these illegals. It'll bet 1,000 of them.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I didn't want to get too far from this. It's still kind of itching on my mind a bit, if I may go back just briefly To the Jews.
To the Jesus?
Yeah, well, look,
Sorry?
put it like this. I can agree that maybe there's something, I can agree there's something negative, possibly toxic or degenerating effect to be opposed culturally to one of these important pillars in America and American culture, I believe, like Christianity, right? And having that be like culturally injected and into a mass way. Look, but put it like this. What I was fascinated by a little bit is some of your language, if I may. I mean, you're just like, this is another crucifixion of Jesus. How can we let them kill Jesus again, you're saying? And I find
in an indirect way. Yeah, they're not killing him physically.
I mean, really, they're only killing him they're only killing him because you gave them the power, in a sense. It's only happening inside
I didn't
of
give
you.
them the power. The producers did. The people where they got their money from did. I didn't give any power.
But you're
I
kind
put
of
them out
giving
of
them
business.
all this power, the ability to kill, the ability to re-crucify Jesus, the ability to kill him again, the ability, you're giving them all
Well,
this
how can
power.
I stop them?
Huh?
Tell me how to stop. Tell me how to
Just
stop.
don't believe them. They're lying.
No, it's happening. It's a real
I know
story.
you're saying there's other things, and I'm not talking about that. You're talking about you're also thinking about like, well, what do we do as a culture? What do we do, like legally? What's the policy action here, Nick? What's the agenda here? Well, I'm not sure, Mark. I just don't know. But
Well, no,
I do
don't
know a little
expect
bit
you-
about this, and you did ask, what can we do? I think one place to start is how about not believing all this narrative and given. Believing that Jesus can be killed again, that they can do this. This is just some people,
Well,
some
that's figuratively,
messy people saying,
not literally,
saying things with a dumb movie.
Well, I haven't seen it. I don't plan to see it. But young minds will go. Young people will see it. Easily to influence people will see it. You know, the wrong kind of people are going to see it. Whether it has any effect, I hope not. But I just thought it was interesting because so many people think that, you know, the chosen people are beyond criticism. And that's baloney. And I'll tell you something
I hear
else,
a bunch
too.
of criticism of them, though. No, I know what you mean. I guess I know what you mean. I should let you say what you mean. But I did want to
Yeah, that's okay.
interject
I don't
and
wanna
say
get
that
you
I hear a
believed.
lot of criticism of them when they say
Yeah,
you
well,
can't
it's-
criticize them.
Mhm.
But go ahead.
Well, maybe on your show and a little bit, not much, but I try to get on a talk show and bring these issues up. I'll be hung up on. They won't tolerate it. I'm talking about on radio talk shows, not YouTube shows. And there's very few YouTube shows like you and Hake and Jesse. There's very, very few. In fact, I mean, you do have other people that speak on the same issues as you guys, but they don't take calls.
I see.
You know, it's just they speak their piece and they say their thing, and you could write a comment, but you cannot call in like this. And you know, that's what I like about your show. And
Thanks,
and
Mark.
Hake's.
Well, appreciate you tuning in. Can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
What are you munching on? What's for lunch?
I was finishing up lunch. You
What's
want to
for
know what I
lunch?
ate?
Yeah, what's for
I,
lunch?
it was a bean salad.
You said
Yeah, I'll
what?
tell you. It was beans, you know, garbanzo beans, chopped up onions.
Oh, yeah.
There's tomatoes in there and olives.
Getting Mediterranean.
And you know, that cheese, that like Greek cheese.
Feta cheese. I knew it.
Yeah.
You're getting
feta.
Mediterranean on us. You just went med on them, Mark.
Yeah, that's the healthiest way to eat.
Oh.
I think. I mean, I ate a lot of fruit and vegetables. The other thing I had was chicken pasta with spinach.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I eat healthy, man. I don't drink. I don't smoke. No drugs.
Solid.
I live like a white man's supposed to live.
There you go, Mark. I appreciate that. And appreciate your call,
Sure.
Mark. Call me again.
God bless. Thank you.
888-775-3773. I want to get right back to my calls here, actually. Let me see what y'all are saying here. Hold on. What are the people saying? The people. Kaya, thank you for your earlier super chat. She asks, please repeat that name 10 times over. Nana. I forget now. Nanasi Yobonsu. Birdie Bound Brian with a super chat says, you crack me up, Nick. Thank you for tuning in, sir. And all my viewers on Rumble, what's up? Thank you, Jules, Buddy, my supporters, Rimfire, 7th, An absolute pleasure, as always. Okay, let's see what else. Top quality beans, the chat is saying. You're absolutely correct about this, by the way. You're absolutely correct about this. And in fact, I revel, smile with glee, and enjoy whenever I like. What I'm trying to say is I love Schilling Punchy's coffee. I love it. I love it. Okay, I love Schilling Punchy's coffee because it's freaking good. Rebuildingtheman.com/store. JesseLeePeterson.shop. It's freaking good. Let's get to Jaime, Minnesota. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey.
Jaime.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Coming in clear.
Hey, I wanted to talk to you about CBD oil.
CBD. You know what's funny?
CBD.
I have this there's a sticky note next to me. I have to assume Jesse wrote it down or something. It just says CBD on it. You want to talk about CBD?
Yeah. So what CBD oil does is it blocks your pain receptors. I believe it's CB1 and CB2. And with the CBD oil, it blocks both 1 and 2. And the 1 receptor gives you a psychoactive effect, that high feeling. And the other receptor is just pain for pain. And with these CBD oils, if you took a test, a pot test, it would show up as if you were smoking pot or whatever, So
with the CBD,
without the THC and all that,
it would still show up in a drug test or something.
Right, because they can't get all the THC out. They can get, some of the really good ones can get 0.3%, down to 0.3% THC and stuff, but they can't get it all out. A different oil would be copaiba oil. That just blocks your second receptor. CB2.
You said what oil? Is that a different
copaiba?
plant?
No, it's a tree. So down in South America, they have these trees, and they scar the trees to get the sap out, and that's your copaiba resin. And then they mix it up and get the essential oil, the oil.
What's
So
copaiba
you take
do?
this copaiba, well, it blocks the CB2 receptor and does nothing for CB1. So there's no psychoactive effect.
Huh.
And because it's not derived from the pot plant, there's not going to test for anything, So,
But it still messes
copaiba.
with those endocannabinoid receptors of the body, which are like
Right.
all through all through the tissues of your body, like your organs. They're all over.
Right. So you can take it under your tongue, and take it sublingually to help get it through your whole body, or you can put it right on the spot that's hurting. Like if you got a sore back from, whatever, you can just rub it on that spot, and it'll soak right in.
And so that you get no high at all from the copaiba stuff, but you get the same effects of the CBD as if it was refined completely to have no THC at all.
Right. Well, the CBD oil, it works by blocking your pain receptors, CB1 and CB2. So even if you get all the THC out, it'll still block your CB1. And your CB1 will cause a psychoactive effect. So
it's
it doesn't
all
work
CB2
exactly
with
like
copaiba. Even with a refined CBD, that even if it was pure, it would still it might still activate CB1, which gives you psychoactive.
Yeah,
effects.
no, it will. Not might, it will.
Okay,
That's
so
what
it's
it
just
does.
the nature of that molecule, and whatever the compound is in copaiba, you're saying only affects CB2, the pain and inflammation thing, as opposed to the high thing.
Right. Finally, somebody who speaks English.
So
You got it.
if you don't, because I know people are like sending Jesse stuff, and it's like, isn't that its own what's it called, vector for a problem? Because it's like you didn't have these things in your life before. You were fine, or at least somewhat fine,
Right.
but now you're introducing, right? Because someone sent you something, you're like, let me just take this. And now you're introducing a compound in your biochemistry, you understand? That, can have precipitating effects down the road. You just don't know. You got to wonder, are these Pandora's boxes, doors that don't even need to be open, if you didn't need to be taken in the first place, right? I wonder, what the heck is the point of opening the door? I mean, do you take
Right.
the CBD stuff?
Me? No, I don't do drugs anymore.
Do you take the Copaiba stuff? I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I take Copaiba, yeah. Every once in a while. Over here in Minnesota, we had those smog from Canada, from those fires.
Yeah.
And it messed with my lungs really bad. So I used that Copaiba on a stovetop in a boiling water, just a little steam to help get it into my nose, because that's where it was hurting, in my nose and in my lungs. So I use it for that and other things,
Well,
It works really
maybe we
good.
need to
No-
source some Copaiba. No, I'm just.
Yeah,
I don't
you
even
get it
use this, so I
anyway.
don't want to say that. But I was just getting business minded for some reason. Find ourselves a Copaiba tree, bottle that up. Punchy's Copaiba.
Yeah. It's better than the CBD drugs.
All right.
Those things are drugs.
Well, there you go. I'd stay away from it too, because I heard that this stuff is actually inflammatory. Even though they'll tell you it's anti-inflammatory, that this stuff is quite inflammatory in some or a lot of people, especially if they use it a lot. And guess what?
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody I know who uses THC or CBD uses it a lot. And pretty much everybody I know who says, "Yeah, I use the CBD for this effects," also uses THC and pot a lot. And it's not like they just use one. And these things are very, they'll say it's anti-inflammatory. If you do there's a lot of literature, and it's emerging, of the very inflammatory effects it has to the gut, and all the sorts of people that are getting that are. There's a big Venn diagram with heavy pot users and IBS and Crohn's disease and all that. It's kind of emerging, so I don't know. I'd stay away from it.
Yeah, you said something interesting, that anybody who uses the CBD and the THC, they just use a lot of it all the time. And with that Copaiba, I don't use it like all the time. I don't need it all the time, and there's no reason. It's not like that addictive kind of thing.
Mm.
Like where CBD is probably addictive. People saying, "No, it ain't addictive. I just like using it every day."
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. You introduce a compound, you might use it all the time, like caffeine and all that. You might end up just using it all the time. So, anyways, Jaime, Copaiba, for those that I'm not recommending anything, folks. Thank you for your call, Jaime. Anything else you want to say?
No, just try it on your own if you want. Don't.
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I'm not recommending any of this. I don't know any of the legality or any of that, folks. But
Definitely
Jaime,
don't
thank
be doing CBD. That's a drug.
you. Yeah. Right on.
Okay,
That's basically
bye-bye.
pot, folks. All right. Thank you, Jaime.
Bye.
888-775-3773. Let's see. We'll get back to calls here. Thank you. 888-775-3773. Yeah, thanks, Zazen. This is why we have the disclaimer. Let me see. What shall we do next? I do have a caller here. Look, let me just do this. William, California. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, can you hear me all right?
Coming in clear. Appreciate your call.
Oh, excellent. I am not hearing you very good, though, for some reason. I can't.
Oh.
Very faint.
Let's see here.
So I had a question. I'm about a half hour behind the stream. And I guess earlier, Mark had called and commented about the new Jesus Christ Superstar. And I had a question, and he said he wasn't going to watch it. I don't think I've even watched the 1970 version. Not sure why. I probably could if I wanted to, probably on YouTube. But wouldn't it be like if you're walking and you're a Christian and you're secure, why would you not be able to watch the movie to figure out, or the play to figure out, hey, what's being done here if you're going to criticize? To me, that's the only way you could criticize objectively and correctly and truly. And then on that same thing, when he mentioned about they're just re-crucifying Jesus, yet since I grew up in the Catholic religion, every Catholic church I went to had the cross on the altar with Jesus hanging on it. So there was an image of Jesus crucified in at least all the churches I went into, the Catholic Church. And so if one's going to be critical about that, wouldn't you start at the church and ask why do they keep the cross with him hung up there? Right. And that's all. That was my question. I guess I don't know if it's too, Mark, or if we want to discuss it.
I mean, I like the dialogue that you open with that. I honestly do, because if there's an answer to what you're asking, I mean, I forget what it was exactly, but basically, how can a Christian look at that or whatever? I forget the question, but I'm getting the gist. Look, it's definitely an interesting dialogue, because you're reminding me of a couple of things Mark said, like something along the lines of how can a Christian not be offended, or something like, I'm a Christian, so I'm offended, or this offends Christians. I forget exactly how he put it, but that's almost, I think in my mind, that's almost like a oxymoron or whatever. It just doesn't fit. How could you be a Christian and be offended?
If Jesus is in heaven at the right hand of the Father, why would he be offended in anything in this evil world? Like, it's not like he wouldn't expect it.
Right. It sounds like you don't know Jesus.
Yeah, right?
It sounds like you don't know Jesus. You don't know your brother. You don't know that he's alive.
I know. I mean, a lot of times he also talks about the Epstein thing, that we got to let it out. But in that final judgment, everything's going to come out. So if you don't have faith in God in the end, well, getting all worked up about it right now on this earth, to me, is another indicator, perhaps, that you're not trusting God, and you want to know, like, God's got to run things by us. And yet, I think I trust God enough to just kind of, like Jessica says, have a wait and see.
Totally, man.
Attitude.
And you know what? It's fine. You don't have to watch stuff. It's fine. There's plenty of stuff that I just don't find interested in. That's fine. But I do like this dialogue in this direction. There's something wrong about a Christian too readily admitting having that capacity to be offended within them, and just to be way too quick to identify with such a thing. I find that it doesn't fit, because look, to be offended by the world, you have to have some sort of misunderstanding of Jesus, what he did, and who's he supposed to be to you, what you're supposed to learn. I have to imagine at some point you got to miss something there, because you're saying then that all these other people have basically power over you. They could tell you what to think and feel about Jesus and all these things. It's supposed to be this internal heaven.
I mean,
him.
I'm well aware of the filthy rich, and we're talking so rich we can't even imagine. I know they got islands and places, and they go and have fun, and they do whatever. And the Bible talks about that. And King David said, I used to envy them until I saw their end. And so, again, King David trusted
King David
God,
said this about who? Can you tell me again?
Yeah, so I think it's either in the Torah or maybe the Psalms.
So like the Old Testament.
King David said, where King David envied, like, why does it seem like the wicked get away with stuff and they get to have, like, just have their way, kind of like the Caesars and not the Caesars, but the Egyptian pharaohs, how they oppressed the people. But he said, I envied them until I saw their end, until that, like he had a glimpse of the final day, the final judgment. And just it said that. Was it? Yeah, that's all. And so even King David said that, and by no means was he perfect. We know about what he did, and we all have our little things we need to repent of and overcome. But yeah,
That's so interesting.
So, yeah. And Nick, remind me, did you grow up in Catholicism? Please
No.
forgive me if I can't remember.
No, so basically, I mean, we grew up pretty much regular Christian. I don't know if you call that regular Christian. What do you call it?
Okay.
Protestant? Well, look, we were hooping and hollering, okay? Even though my family didn't do that.
Yep.
It was Spanish church, and it wasn't Spanish. It was, I think, what you call Protestant or just regular maybe. But it was a hooping and hollering, right? Do a little praise. So it really wasn't structured. And then, I mean, the kids always went out at some point during the service, so I never even saw at some point I started seeing the little grape juice or wines. So they did do the Eucharist, communion or Eucharist or whatever in the churches I grew up in, but it really wasn't a thing. I definitely rejected it early, young, and didn't pay attention, didn't care, and then became a bit of a nightmare. And they did that. Like just difficult to bring to church. Not that I'd be like difficult at church, but I'd make a fuss about not going. I was well behaved, but I stayed. So I ended up staying home. I ended up going to Catholic school in Canada for a number of years,
right?
And that's where I have the first, I guess, connection to Catholicism. Some people think that I must have grown up Catholic because I'm Mexican. But that's not exactly my, my origin story.
Was that a high school one?
Actually, elementary. Actually, grade 5 all the way to the end of high school.
So what age would you say you were rebellious? Was it before that when you
rebellious against Christianity and what my family was doing?
Yeah.
How old was I? Because there was at some point I was into it, kind of. And to the point where I even invited a young friend to like a Christian retreat. And I was like, yeah, I did it. And I felt even kind of proud about it. I was like, we brought one to you, Lord. And
you know how hard I tried as an adult to get someone to go and I couldn't? And yet I see another guy go to our church at the time zoned out and he could bring people person after person after person. And I was like, how's he doing it? And I'm like,
I was a kid.
It was weird.
No, I was a kid, and it was like my young friend.
I remember getting worked up over it, too. Not worked up and going, what am I doing wrong, Lord? I'm like, why won't people come to the church? Because I didn't want to listen to me. I said, come listen to my pastor, man. Because, they go through he would go through the whole Bible, like every bit of it, from Genesis to Revelation. So in my mind, I thought because he was doing that we were covering all the bases. And in a way, we were. But even today, we don't do that anymore. We crawl through it, and instead of just going through the scriptures, they kind of talk about a bunch of stuff for 20 minutes first, and then they go into the scriptures. I don't like that. But they're not doing what you guys are doing at Bond either. So if it was that, like directly practical stuff, then that would be okay. But we don't do that. It's all a bunch of what this person may be thinking and what's going on TV. And it just, I don't know, it just seems very disconnected. I don't know.
It is. You said disconnected?
Yeah. All right. I get it because it's just not. Like I said, I'll be quiet. I don't need to bash my church that I'm going to. I'm not going to name them, but
there's no church like ours. Honestly, there's no church around. I've never been to one like it. I've never seen one like it. Church with Jesse.
The only thing has been home fellowships when it's ran by someone who really wants to do that, not just be an echo chamber, of whatever the pastor said the past Sunday, Yeah.
No, it's
only come close in home fellowships.
Oh, the mic goes around, and we're all there seeking the same thing at rebuildingtheman.com/church Sundays with Jesse. I mean, we're all there seeking the same thing, and it's like, I don't say this to stress anybody out. If anybody's been there, you'll know that it's not stressful. It's chill. It's just Jesse. It's just us. But it's for some, it's self-reflection is too much, and it won't come back. They really won't come back. They'd rather go back. They'd rather go to this. They'd rather go to their hooping and hollering and churches and do a little Sunday, go home.
All right, well, Nick, I'm gonna let you go because I am at work.
Call me again, man.
And just a couple thoughts. All right, God bless.
Thank you, sir.
Talk to you later.
888-775-3773. Thank you, man. Appreciate the calls. Very cool. Now, what else did I want to do? Because I got more calls here. You know, I just want to get this itch to go back to them. What else did I have for you here? Maybe switch it up just a little bit in between. You know what? We'll talk about this. Young anchor baby in church. You know, James is saying Nit took a handful of crackers when they passed the cracker plate. You know, I've been unconventional. You know, it's like you pass the plate around, you take one cracker, you just do what everybody else does. And it's like I got a demon in me. I have to overcome. Like I have my mama in me. Like I have to take two. I have to bring Nutella and go to my friend and be like, hey, I'm gonna add Nutella to the wafer, to the Eucharist. Isn't that so funny? Like I obviously have a demon in me. Because that's just not normal. Okay, it's like I can't just be like everybody else. But I do remember, for example, at St. Francis Xavier. Should I be saying yeah, it doesn't matter, right? St. Francis, I remember going up because we were in uniforms. It was a Catholic school, and every few months or so, or we'd go to mass. We'd do mass. And I'd been going to Catholic schools in Canada since like I think grade 5 or whatever. So some elementary, and through my Catholic schooling, I ended up getting confirmed, First Communion or whatever. Or I forget what all the way. I think I did confirmation, but I didn't do First Communion. And I remember going to that school and going up to the priest. Right, it was just a different school, right? Because in elementary I was at one Catholic school, high school was another Catholic school. So I'm there, and I was like, I know the deal. We walk up, we go like this. We go like this, and then the priest, I forget what he says, and then we go like this, and then he puts the wafer in my hand, right, and I eat it, and I go back to the pew. And this time he denied me. He looked at me, and he went like this, and I was denied the Eucharist. I still don't know to this day why. I don't know to this day. I don't know why. He just went like this, and he shooed me away. And I got no wafer that day. And that's it. I don't remember why. It was never clear. I don't know how he knew. I mean, I think that man was a priest from God. He knew I had not had my first communion or some other reason. I don't know. He saw it in my eyes. This guy wants to put Nutella on the wafer. This is that kid that put Nutella on the wafer at whichever one. I forget that school now. I forget the name of the elementary school I went to. Anyways, elementary. Whatever. But I was denied the Eucharist. What else? Catholic school was funny. I do remember doing confession and telling that priest in his face, looking him in the eyes and telling him this is none of your business. I think that was maybe a little Christian leftover teaching or something. Something was taught like at Sunday school, going to church with the family. I looked at him, I was like, this is none of your business. I ain't telling you ish. And then he sent me back to the pew, and my stomach was grumbling so loud, it was so embarrassing. It was really loud. Let's get to James out of Michigan. How you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Nick. How are you doing?
All is well, James.
Here. Excellent.
Are you on speakerphone, James?
I'm on a car radio because I'm on the interstate at the moment.
I think I could turn you up here. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I'm on the interstate right now. I have a DOT license on me, and if a DOT officer somehow pulls me over and finds out, I'm kind of in trouble.
A DO what license?
A DOT, Department of Transportation.
Gotcha. Well, let's not talk about that anymore. You're on the air. You're doing everything legal and fine, sir. Calling my show today. Welcome.
Thank you. I was just calling because I caught wind on your conversation with the last caller talking about CBD versus THC. I'm a hemp grower going on 5 years now out of the state of Kentucky. I wanted to get a better understanding of what you were discussing with that as far as pain reduction.
Well, I mean, he said, well, it was just my caller who seemed knowledgeable about CBD, and he was saying that there was some other plant compound, copaiba, I believe, that does the same thing. And he was kind of giving some information on the receptors and how CBD affects it, and how pure CBD should affect you, and how it has THC in it sometimes. But even if it's just CBD, it would still kind of get you high because of how it affects a certain receptor. And so the copaiba does not affect the highness receptor at all. And that's a summary of what he said. And I guess he was just interested in telling my audience that.
Oh,
It had come up too. People are suggesting for people to take the CBD stuff, and so he wanted to say that.
Well, let me first start out by explaining a little bit what CBD is. CBD is short for cannabidiol. I can never say that perfectly correct. Basically, what that is it is a compound, and it interacts with your CB2 receptors, THC, and there's another acronym that's escaping me. Those are basically more complex versions of the cannabidiol. The THC is tetrahydro, meaning that it's got a little bit extra on it that causes that sensation, because CBD by itself does not interact with the psychedelic receptors in your brain, but the tetrahydro does.
Gotcha.
Create psychedelic effects, but CBD will not do it.
We're losing you there, man.
All right, hang on, let me switch to my car phone, and I'm going to look around real quick. All right, I don't see anybody on the road at the moment. So, can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I always got to look out for those things. So, basically, everything related to the cannabis plant comes from the cannabidiol, or CBD. Everything is just more complex. So, CBD by itself, like the plant itself, you basically get it from either the buds or the shake. Shake is basically everything not related to the flower. Now, THC gets more, you can get a lot more value by pound if you go for shake than the bud, even though the bud has a higher concentration. But CBD is not the same way. CBD gets most of its potency from the bud, and the shake actually is very, very low quality. That's why when people buy CBD products online and they have mixed results, sometimes they say it doesn't work. Well, for starters, you have to first verify, did they actually use buds or did they actually mix it with shake? Because obviously shake adds bulk, and bulk moves product more than just buds themselves, which then, of course, creates the effect that you're not getting what you're actually paying for. So there's that element when it comes to CBD. My farm, I only do bud. I strip all shake off, and that way the CBD concentration is actually very high, which is why my products get the results. But that's why the first thing I tell people is if you try a CBD product, doesn't matter if it's gummies, doesn't matter if it's cream, doesn't matter what it is, and you have mixed results, first you have to verify, is that company actually using just buds, or is it mixing shake in there? Because, again, that makes bulk. And it's, of course, a very unethical process, but who's going to stop them?
Basically, the buds produce a more refined CBD product. Does it still have THC in it?
So THC, it is from the same plant. Again, the cannabinoid plant is kind of like the baking soda of the plant, if you will.
I'm following all that. I mean, the finished. You said you make a more refined CBD product. Is that correct? Does that, from the buds, when you finish, does it still have THC in it?
It does. It's a very, very low concentration. The government basically has a regulation that you cannot allow more than 50 parts per billion of oil per liter of oil, which is extremely small, because it's not really possible to get rid of every single THC molecule out of it because it comes from the same plant. But what you can do is through selective breeding, which is what's been done for a very long time, get it down to where the THC is extremely low. In fact, one thing a lot of people make mistakes out of is if you try to grow hemp plants next to marijuana plants, you're actually trashing both plants. You're raising the THC on the CBD plant to too high a level, but you're not even, you'll get reduced pain effects, but you're also dragging down the concentration of THC in your sativas, indicas, varieties. So, but some people try to do that because they seem to think it doesn't really make a difference. It makes a tremendous difference if you're trying to make stuff either for yourself or for other people. Now, if our final product, when we send it to the processor, is above 50 parts per billion per liter, they'll reject it because it's considered too high by government standards.
Gotcha.
So anytime you're getting a CBD product that's through the legal process, I mean, some of these people do very sketchy things, but a legitimate one will not allow their oil to be processed if it is above that threshold. And to people that say, can you smoke CBD, you're going to get a headache. And this is from, and I don't personally use any of this material as far as that goes, but you will get a headache if you try to smoke CBD like THC before you get anything out of it. Because it's so low, you're going to suffer basically other effects that are unrelated to it first.
I see.
Which is why, yes. So when people talk about the use CBD as far as a high, that's not the CBD they're mixing.
Can CBD get you high too, even if theoretically you could have a totally pure, non-adulterated with THC? Last caller was saying the CBD, even if you could, get it to a theoretical 0 THC percent, the CBD molecule, that compound still, it's some way, shape, or form processes itself to antagonize the CB1 receptor, which gets you high. Is that true?
You're going to burn. If you're going to say it theoretically, eventually you'll get to anything, but let's also be realistic. You're going to suffer a lot of other health-related issues as a result of smoking it before you get a THC effect.
I see.
The THC effect you get from gummies, for example, because we sold gummies, is we've mixed a percentage of
I got you, man.
solid with, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But as
plenty
far as-
information, sir. I mean, I got you. CBD. Look, you're growing the hemp. I don't know. Do you watch Jesse Lee Peterson, or did you just catch my show?
Oh yeah, I've watched him for
I was
many
wondering
years.
if Big CBD had caught on to the last caller and was
Oh, I can
making
promise
sure.
you that I am not big by any means.
No,
of the
I'm
amount-
messing
any
around a
stretch of
little
imagination.
bit. No,
Yeah,
you
okay.
found the call interesting and you got some info there. But I got you, man. By the way, last question.
Yeah.
Hemp. You grow hemp. Does it also make other stuff like textiles? I heard that like I kept hearing that the first president, I think, even grew hemp or something like that. the
Yes.
first
Well,
founding
hemp is arguably, there's research that shows hemp is arguably one of the first crops ever domesticated by man because of the tremendous amount of variety it can do. I mean,
and that
the very
doesn't
first,
produce any of the getting high pot, the hemp.
no, hemp is just the name associated to the particular type of
The male plant.
strains of the CBD
Oh, my
that
bad.
you're using for that product. Hemp only refers, so that's what I'm saying, is hemp, when you say hemp, that means they're talking about the CBD bred varieties of the cannabinoid plant.
I see.
Versus, your sativa and indica, that's when you're talking about your THC variety. And then there's the Harlequin, which has fiber varieties. So if you're growing hemp for fiber,
okay, gotcha.
which is what the first rope was actually made from, was hemp. Because it's extremely strong. If anybody's ever dealt with hemp rope, they'll know that thing is very hard to break.
Fascinating. Well, thank you, man.
Yeah. But yeah, we make anything. Our products, all we do is we have a hand cream, dog oil, and things like that.
Don't
and it's just
promote.
to treat
Don't
with
promote
pain.
any names of your company and all that.
No,
but
no. I would
I
never
just had
do
to
that.
throw that
I'm just,
in there.
I'm just letting you. I'm just putting that out there for you. That it's not just me.
Right.
Most companies that you're going to find online, if you type in CBD in Google, and you're going to start seeing pain creams,
Yep.
pain gummies, all that. That's what it's for. I'm not trying to do any. No, not by any means of the imagination.
Thank you, man.
No, but I'm just saying that's primarily what CBD is meant for, is pain. If you're trying to get a psychedelic effect, you're going a really bad way of doing it. That's like trying to take THC for pain reduction. I mean, you're not really you're not really taking a sativa because you're suffering from arthritis.
Gotcha. So it's not
Yeah,
for
I mean-
energy or for really anything about. It's really about pain. It's really for pain.
When it comes to CBD, yes, that's the primary thing I'm dealing with is pain, because obviously, as we all know, pain is one of the oldest things we've all experienced, and it's just a matter of how do you reduce pain, and sometimes even related to age, which is why, of course, as you get older, you get pains and aches and stuff, and that's why these products help out, especially when you're older. Especially if you're like me and you have an absolute disdain for the pharmaceuticals and you want to stick to natural, what God gave to this planet, instead of what mankind is making in a dark lab somewhere, these types of varieties is for that. God gave us the solution to all of our problems, and it's just a matter of using them responsibly, but also, in a way that helps better your fellow man. That's what I believe.
Well,
and
thank you, man.
I'm very blessed by everything God's given as far as with all this, and I always love trying to share with others.
Well, appreciate your call, man.
Thank you very much, Nick. You guys have a wonderful day.
Take care, man. Call me again.
I will.
888-775-3773. Yep. Did the founders get high at all? Is a question being asked in my chat. Well, the hemp is not the high stuff, right? And I bet you it's changed a lot. Well, that's what I hear. It ain't the pot that we grew up with. Okay, we got to go back to the Toms. Okay, we have to go back to the Toms shoes. You remember the Toms shoes, right? The hipster era. And now I don't know if this is fair to say. Is Edward Sharpe... Actually, let's find that out. When did that song come out? Home, Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros. A little song by an American group, an American band. Indie folk, country folk. Released 2010. See, this is fitting the era. Yeah, this is actually fitting. Definitely high school. Hipsters, maybe a thing. Tom's shoes are definitely a thing. No longer are the Vans slip-ons around, but you have all sorts of youngins into the Vampire Weekends. What a mess. What a mess. All the Vampire Weekends. And so you remember this song? For some reason, I don't know why. It's like it's being talked about. It's being talked about to the tune of tens of millions of views on one post alone. And then all the other posts I've gathered, it's just millions and millions of people. Or millions and millions of views, impressions, etc. And it's an old song. Not everybody, but it's a song you might be familiar with. Hipster, hippie, whatever you want to call it. Some cringe. Some might think this is an objectively good song. Wherever you may lie, you may remember this song and some of the vibe around it. It's funny, some say that these kind of people preaching all that love aren't actually the nicest people. More on that later maybe, but backstabbing comes to mind, but that's not important right now. Do you remember this song?
Alabama, Arkansas, I sure love my mom and pop, but the way that I do love you.
Short-haired, okay. We got a Jesus figure.
The apple of my eye, girl, I'll never love another one like you. Hey, man, oh man, you're
hey, with the cymbals, the tambourines. Barefoot music. You do not listen to this music with shoes on, folks.
Well, hot and heavy pumpkin pie, chocolate candy, Jesus Christ. Ain't nothing
Michael Thomas says good song.
more than you.
Let's
get on home. Home is wherever there is you.
Okay, it's a cute song. Okay, look, I think it's an objectively well-written one. It's catchy, and I think that's part of the reason why this has had this resurgence. It's simply, look, it's simple. It's simple. Tunes. It's simple, like catchy tune that I think that on its own is like pushed this into some sort of virality, some sort of August 2025 virality. Okay, with 61 million views on this one alone. I think on its own, for all the people, because it's a lot of people complaining about it too. It's a lot of people saying this song. Oh, I remember this song. This song sucks. I think the fact that so many are sharing this is mere proof that it objectively, like no politics, culture, or anything, that it's a catchy tune. Right? The fact that everyone's like, oh, I hate it. I think they're saying they kind of like it. Okay, we'll get to that maybe. This is not that well put together of a segment or anything. This is more of a seeing if you guys remember this, right? Was this a millennial anthem? Was I wrong in describing it like that? This and other songs, right? Like, who was it? The Lumineers? What were that? Some more of that hey ho music. Lumineers, what did they do? The Lumineers, what song did they do? What'd they do? They probably did some more of the hey ho music, right? Hey ho. Oh, in fact, that's the name of that song by the Lumineers. Hey ho. So, look, maybe some of you don't understand. I'm from the suburbs, okay? I know this. I know this stuff. Okay? I'm not hard. I'm from the suburbs. Okay, I know this music. So anyways, it's a short-haired girl here. Now, these two are a couple when this song is written. They're a couple, and they're just so in love. And that's probably why this song kind of hit, right? It's like such a loving song. Home is whenever I'm with you. Home. We don't need anybody else. This is such deep love. And so they wrote this song in the throes of love. And everybody sang it, and they're like, wow, what a beautiful love song. I wonder how many love songs ended up like these people, where they break up, the band broke up or something like that because this woman was like voted out. Look, it was some drama back in the day. She posted on Instagram, oh, they emailed me, they voted me out of the band. And then the band was like, it's not how she's saying it is. And it was some drama. It was just some drama. I don't know. I don't really know the deets. I don't care. But let me see if I can pull up some of the stuff people were saying. Because I don't know, is the millennial music having a bit of a moment right now? I think it's having just a little bit of a moment. But, you know, they had this whole love thing. I found that kind of funny. Oh, it's so in love thing. They called this guy, I wasn't making that up when I said this guy's a bit of a Jesus figure. Now, let me see if I can pull that up. That's what they were saying about him back then. Alex Ebert. His name is Alex. And they were together. Traveling music hippies or something. I can't find it. But they were saying that he was very influential. It was like some quote from some interview. That he was very influential or something like that. But was always distracted by women. Like he could save the world. He's here to save the world, but he's just distracted by women right now. It was something like that. Whatever. Like, it's just a catchy tune, no? It seemed like a lot of hate came out. I think I remember not liking it back then. Thinking, ew, what's up with this hipster thing? This hey-ho music. I think I judged it back then. But look, they ended up being kind of nasty. If you know anything about, I don't need to get into the details, but the love band, the band that was like, let's bring love to the world. We're going to be love. We're the love group. We're just love, love, love. We give you this song of love. It was hate. They broke up. They got mad at each other. They had their agendas. What else about this? I just don't know why this went so viral. Like, it's just an old song from the 2000s. And everybody has a different take on it. Some are like, mRNA Goyim Exploder on X, by the way, what a name. The mRNA Goyim Exploder said, I actually saw them live, and it was one of the best shows I've ever been to. Zoomer Troons will never know how magical the stomp clap, hey Bonnaroo hipster era was. Now you have to like music ironically. Is that true? I remember back then thinking it was lame, but now I'm listening to it, I'm like, this is an objectively catchy song. And it's like an objectively nice, pretty song. This kind of music and person got ruined for me when I traveled around the world and realized all hippies are basically degenerate backstabber grifters, and the peace and love aesthetic hides a really gritty underbelly. That's anecdotal, Ashley. But I actually know somebody. I literally know a buddy who is... I think he was basically this guy. I think he was basically this guy. You know, now I don't want to say what he wasn't, but you know, just charismatic and magnetic, and had a group around him that maybe even turned on him, and they were all about peace and love. They said it was all peace and love, and it wasn't. I have a buddy who's basically this guy. So anyways, where are my millennials in the chat? You guys know the song? You guys familiar? Are you guys going through memory lane a bit? Huh? I don't think I could play more of it. I mean, if I didn't already get copyrights struck. Not copyright struck, but claimed. This song is fine. The kind of music you hear shopping at Target, but as an old head who lived through this, I can assure you there's nothing genuine about it. Make no mistake, these are Obama-era LA hipsters doing Dust Bowl, Okie, Americana, hippie, commune core LARP. All right, I'm tired of this. With that one, we're gonna move on. And with that one, we shall move on. Remember, do not listen to this music with shoes on. This is barefoot music. Robert out of Kansas, how you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, what's up, brother? So you asked if the founding fathers were high, huh?
Someone in the chat asked that, and I made the mistake of saying that out loud. Maybe.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know that it came from chat. Of course it did. Huh?
You have an answer to that question?
Well, I mean, okay, listen, Nick, like, let's say me and you lived back then, right?
Okay.
And I look over at you and I was like, bro, we should just throw the tea in the ocean. Do you know how high you have to be?
What are you saying? To throw the tea in the ocean?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, okay, so let's say you're like in some beer hall somewhere in Philadelphia or wherever, and you're just like, dude, let's just, like, how drunk do you have to be like, okay, we'll just start our own country? Like, you have to be, dude, you got to
Dude, let's just go start a business.
No, yeah, let's just, hey, listen, dude, how about this?
Just like slurring speech. Let's just start a country.
We're going to kill. Listen, we know where the British are, right? Okay, here's what we're going to do. Like, dude, you got to be messed up. So thank God for that, right? Just a general recklessness that would lead you to be like, you know, we could beat the British Empire. We could do it, guys.
I don't think... I gather the least of the factors there was drugs or alcohol. And a real note, not to rain on the parade. But yeah. Well, what if they were drunk and they were like, let's start a country? That's funny, man.
Maybe not for some of them, man. You never know. A certain individual, you never know what Benjamin Franklin was up to. I mean, that guy, you never know. So, but yeah,
I think they had that in like kids shows growing up, like educational kids shows, little quips, little tiny sort of tongue-in-cheek quips about the alleged Thomas Jefferson may have done.
Well,
who did you say? No, Benjamin Franklin, I meant. Sorry.
Jefferson.
That was like in kids shows, if I remember.
But didn't Washington grow like a bunch of hemp? Didn't he say like to sow it throughout the land and all these statements about it?
He may have. I feel like I may have heard that from maybe you or somebody else.
From me? I don't know if you heard it from me, but yeah, I think he said that it was like a great plant. And I mean, yeah, differentiating hemp from like how do you describe it? Like I don't know, man. There's so many versions of plants. I'm still trying to learn about all the versions, but
I mean,
yeah,
I heard they knew. I mean, I heard they knew the difference between hemp and marijuana, though. Like that was clear.
Oh man, I mean these guys were brilliant, brother. I mean, if they wanted to get stoned, I mean, they knew the difference between a rope cord making canvas plant that would make something of, you could make sails with it and put them on sailboats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and then you had something you could grow in your backyard that would get you lit, right? I mean, they weren't idiots. I mean, the Native Americans, they knew all about
pot.
And in the Middle East, I mean, for millennia, I mean, they had
hashish.
They had everything. So, I mean,
Kush,
if you don't think,
isn't that an Arabic word?
You don't think that Europeans wanted to get like the whale meat from the North Atlantic or elk or whatever the Europeans had, they would go to like Turkey, to Istanbul, and be like, hey, do you guys have any hashish? Because we'll give you all the fish you could imagine from the North Sea, dried in salt, right? Like they traded everything forever, man. Like it's been going on forever. So to think that they didn't know how to get high is ridiculous.
I guess.
Well,
I guess that's one way. That's definitely a different sentence than to think that the fathers, to make any claim that they got high. It's different to say what you just said than that, right? Because you said to think that they didn't know what it was or how to get high is different than saying that they got high, or even in any regular at any regular interval.
Well, sure. If they were drug addicts, they would be less.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying on that phrase.
I mean, because
it sounds like you don't know either, right?
Don't know either what?
If founding fathers got high, which is what you called in about.
Well, I guess I would say I'm sure that some of them did all kinds of things. I mean, man, there are flowers that you can find in fields that if you boil them down and drink the thing, I mean, you'll be, So
yeah,
I mean,
but they did that for pain too, right?
Well, as far as them getting high, I'm not saying any one founding father did anything, but they certainly have written.
Yeah, because you don't know. Just reiterating that.
Well, about alcohol, I mean, I know that a lot of them spoke about alcohol and alcoholism, and certain ones were drunk, and they were still like Grant. Wasn't like Grant was a drunk, and so many other ones
I'm not
were
familiar.
drunk. Yeah, I mean. But, and I'm not saying, well, obviously Grant's not a founding father, but like all these people in history, yeah, they use whatever they used. And, but yeah,
maybe.
like you say, they're better off sober,
Possibly.
right?
Conjecture of Robert. But okay.
It's conjecture that some of them got drunk and high? Are you sure? It's
No, I'm not saying anything. No, you might be right. No, I'm not saying anything. Gotcha, man. Yeah. Like,
okay.
Alcohol was a known thing. Opium was a known thing. Laudanum, these were medicines, but whatever. Anyways, you're kind of heavily implying, I guess, that all these people got high or something, but I don't know what you're really saying. It doesn't really matter.
Well, I'm saying, Nick, you never know that some drunk guy in Philadelphia bar somewhere could have started the entire revolution by being like, F these British SOBs. He's just drunk, right? Like he just happens to be drunk. And then the right men heard him and they're like, you know what? He's right. These guys, dude, you never know, man. It's just funny to think about.
It's
all
funny.
Nick,
I doubt it, but it's funny.
You doubt it. Okay. Well,
I do doubt it.
Right.
I find it hard to believe, but it's funny. It's funny.
Okay.
I bet you some maybe some were listening were like that, and they were like, you know what? I actually agree with this guy. This guy's making a lot of sense. I heard Hitler made a lot of big speeches at pubs or something like that. Something I was just reading about.
Oh yeah, Hitler, huh? Well, now we're on. Well, that's a whole nother call.
I said that to the wrong person, Robert. Man, thanks for your call. Call me again.
Well, okay, yeah, right.
Take care, man. Bye. Call me again, man. I'm sure many did I'm sure many did speeches at pubs. It's just I literally was watching like a very normie documentary on this. I don't think that's controversial. Very normie documentary was like Hitler did speeches at pubs or something like that. All right, so let's see here. Amazing. Look at the time. We got to get to, let's see. We have to get to, we did everything, folks. We did the super chats. Let's see here. All of your amazing calls. The topics. We got a little bit of a, is this a coffee that I missed? Is it new? I don't recognize it, so I'm going to read it again if I hadn't already. Jermaine, man, thank you for the coffee. Says, what's up, Nick? Isaiah 3:12, KJV. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. This verse shows the consequences of a fallen society. Leadership is upside down, children and women leading, and it brings destruction and confusion. Thank you, Jermaine. Appreciate a little scripture there and supporting the show. Thanks for the coffees. Gregatron, Kaya. I already read those. Amazing. Let's get to Rick in the last minute here. Rick, you got like 30, 60 seconds or whatever in the last minute of the show.
What's going on, brother Nick? The ain't the baby.
Thank you, Rick. Always a pleasure.
Amazing. Yes, sir, man. You know, here's what I don't know why people are having a hard time understanding what President Trump is trying to do with the tariffs. President Trump, what he's doing, he's trying to force them, because countries, I don't understand why they have tariffs on our goods anyway. Every country has tariffs, high tariffs on our goods.
Yeah.
So what President Trump is doing is, look, y'all want to continue to do business, we're going to raise our tariffs up, because y'all already got tariffs on us. And so what President Trump is doing is trying to get them to level the playing field. It's just, he ain't doing that to just try to make, and actually, they're going to comply, because they need our business. We need their business. But, you know, they haven't been playing right. It's like everybody benefit off America, man. And so Trump is trying to say, y'all going to put some skin in the game. And that's the whole thing, you know, like, even with the call on the Hake report, one of our brothers called and said that I said the economy was doing good, but at the same time, right now, the interest rates are going down, but it's still too high. A lot of people is not too quick to buy a house right now, because even though 7% is dropping some, but houses are running about $300,000 now, and 7% on $300,000 is a lot of money.
Rick, it's weird. The tariffs thing, just to summarize, be quick about it, but I essentially agree. I mean, I notice that it's pure business, but everybody else is taking it personally. That's this is business, and Trump is just running business. And guess what? When you're negotiating in business and all that, you may not, you're gonna have to represent yourself. Sometimes you're gonna be in opposition in what two parties want, and that's just business. But people are taking it way personally. They're calling my show saying, "Oh, why is Trump making enemies and all this stuff with Canada?" And they don't really get that this is business. It's really everybody else who's taking it personally. There's nothing. Trump just wants to change the deals with a bunch of these trading partners in the world.
You know, he's not making enemies with Canada. Canada needs to drop their tariffs on our goods. How come Canada won't say, "Hey, the reason why President Trump put the tariffs up on our goods because we get high tariffs on their goods from the beginning"? They will never tell that.
Absolutely, Rick. Thank you for that, Rick. We have just so little time. I have to let you go. Last thing you want to say on this?
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, Nick, keep up the good work, man. I'll try and tune in tomorrow. Love you, brothers. Just keep spreading the truth, man. Happy Men's Day.
Yes.
Stay strong.
Call me again, Rick.
We got to stop being weak. Talk to y'all later.
That's nice, Rick. Thank you for that. Right on, folks. That's the show. We got to go for real now. Hope you enjoyed the show. That's it from the Anchor Baby. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. Thursday already. Bible Thumper Thursday with Jesse Lee Peterson. We got Punchy TV coming up in an hour, so you guys got a little moment there. Stretch your legs, do what you got to do. finish that task you're supposed to do. And we got Punchy TV coming up for you later, live with the experts on Punchy TV. All right, folks. Take care. More American Anchor Baby tomorrow. But for now, I must say goodbye. Take care. Peace. Or Lil Nick too, he's got to say bye. Bye.
The views, information, thoughts, and opinions expressed during this show are the individual's own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of the JLP Network or Bond. Their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The material and information presented here is for general information purposes only. The JLP Network and Bond name and all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owner, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service.